It's Derby Day. You know what that means. It's time to put it all on the line. The SoCal battle between LA and San Diego rages on. We know how we feel about the Dodgers, and I know how y'all feel about the black and gold. Let's talk about it. This is my predicted starting 11 for tonight's game. Host Mo, the Max Football Podcast, here to bring you my predicted starting 11. If you didn't already hear it in the first part, thank you for hanging out through the intro. Thank you for joining me, for me to just blabber on in front of this lovely camera right here and tell y'all how I feel about this squad. And I think right now, honestly, we might have a good enough shot to pick up a W. We might have a good enough shot to get 3 points in the BMO Stadium in LA. The old-fashioned beat LA, right? Well, the Frontier will be loud and proud saying that in the home of the black and gold. But let me get into my predicted 11. Let me leave you guys, or stop leaving you with anticipation-filled thoughts. Let's get into the guy who's in between the posts, who wears number 1 for a reason. You already know he shouldn't come out. Duran Ferree had a good game, but nobody's been playing better than CJ Dos Santos. And again, nobody's been playing better than him. Yes, Siskinjega is back. He's more of a traditional shot stopper. I'm not going to put him into the freaking game ASAP. That's not going to do that. CJ has looked a dream, especially since coming back from the World Cup. I feel like you have to continue to start him. He seems the better option in between the posts. And if we're going to have a real shot at beating LAFC, he needs to be the guy in between the post. Let's get to the fullbacks. I'm loving this pairing, and I feel that this pairing needs to continue to happen. It does not need to be the young pairing of Bombino and Verhoeven, but it does need to be the pairing of Bombino and Jürgen Thorhausen. See, Thorhausen has been outstanding as a wingback for us. He's looked awesome in attack. He's allowed the ability for Dreyer to push through the middle. And again, if our game plan is going to be using Dreyer as an outlet, not the entire game plan, then Thorhausen pushing that high up the pitch is going to play massive diligence in how we play. But I'm going to love that idea. So those are your fullbacks. To go to the center backs, the pairing of Manu Dua and Chris McVeigh is no more for me. I seen a positive outing from a pairing that had just one of those guys. So I want to actually go with that pairing, and I'd like to try it. And probably one of the worst situations to try a new center back pairing in. But you know what? Again, they played so well, you got to give it a shot. Ian Murphy on the left and Manu Dua on the right. I feel like Manu Dua has that ability to play out wide, and he can dribble up if he needs to. He can play that Chris McVeigh role better than Chris McVeigh. Remember, he was a defensive center back or center mid all through college and growing up. And then Ian Murphy proved how good he is on the ball. He proved how good he is in transitional defense. He proved to be a decent tackler. Yes, he had his sloppy moments, but again, so does McVeigh. But McVeigh has him to the point of yellow and red cards. I would like to take the lesser of two evils on that one and go Ian Murphy. I want to go back to the double pivot, and I'm afraid of doing that for this reason alone, and it's because I feel like maybe Godoy isn't as good with Tverskov on the pitch. Maybe he's better when he's alone in that 6 role, but I feel like we're going to need the advanced play of Godoy and the defensive work of a Tverskov. So that's going to be my 2 center defensive mids. We're going to be playing in a 4-2-1-3 or a 4-2-3-1. So with my center mid, as much as I think Achouri is just the guy that they love, Gabriel Pirani has been that much more promising in my eyes, and I really do think that he has shown he needs to be that guy more. Achouri is due. He's so due. It's not even funny. The chances that he's not getting or he's not finishing are crazy because they're good chances. They're good chances. And the crazy bit is when he decides, or not when he decides, but when the goals start falling for him, they're going to fall in bunches, my guys. They're going to fall in bunches. But I just don't think that that's going to happen right now. Maybe the super sub mentality coming off the bench, wanting to make that massive old impact, maybe that's what's going to be. Maybe that's what it's going to be. And that's why I feel Pirani should start, get that motor going, get that idea rocking. And then when you bring Valakari on, it's set up. It's ready to go. That's my midfield. Godoy, Tverskov, Godoy, Pirani. To go on the wings, I've been talking about Dreyer. I said Dreyer a bunch of times. Dreyer. It has to be Anders Dreyer. He's going to be vital in this game. Vital. Again, the ability to cut down, play through the middle, to play as more of a 10, a creative and attacking midfielder over a traditional right winger, and letting Thorhausen play as a right wing back is going to be a big deal for us. It's going to allow us to be that much more creative and hopefully fluid through the middle, having a good Pirani and Dreyer combination. Or maybe Pirani allows Dreyer to stay out wide, which I've told you guys, I feel like he does better that way. But the way Sonny is used, Sung Hyung-min, the way Sonny's used in LAFC, they kind of use him as like an inverted 10. He goes out wide but comes back in. And Dreyer's been doing a lot of that. And it's worked for Sonny, so I think it's about time it's going to start working for Dreyer, especially if guys can finish. Let me be that person to say that. If the guys can finish, it'll be massive. So speaking of guys that can finish, we're going to go right to the striker position. I love how we go all the way over. And it's going to be Marcus Varksen. Marcus Varksen's got 11 goals on the season. Okay? 11 goals on the season. He's got 45 ring dingers, if you will. Shots off the post. And he's another guy that is, when he's on, and he's going to be massive for us. He just needs to finish. He needs to be clinical in the final third. And he almost scored one against Puebla from distance. And he can do that. But he needs to do that. That's the problem. He's not, but he needs to. And I think we're going to get an opportunity to see him actually do that. I think we're going to get an opportunity for him to truly show up and show out against LAFC. He's going to want to win it. He's going to want to be a part of it. He's going to want to make an impact. And I think that that's going to be good enough for us to push him into the starting role, as he has no reason to not be. Because honest to God, as much as I love Lewis Morgan's pace and everything else, he's not doing anything through the middle. Not a single thing. And we really don't have anybody else through the middle. We aren't going to sign a striker from the looks of it by the time of the end of the season, or the end of the transfer window, So this is what we got. And so I hope it starts to click, man. I really do hope it starts to click. And on the left, we finally have options. We finally have options. Amal Pellegrino is back. He's off the injured list. Will he be available? We don't know. But my guesstimation is if you're off the injured list, you're going to be available. Brian Zomble has looked good during the Leagues Cup, and I think he can deserve another start. Would deserve another start. They've tried the idea of Vasquez on the left. I prefer Vasquez on the right. Don't do it on the left. He's just not as good on the left as he is on the right. Even though he's better as a 10. And then you have the obvious. Do you just pull the trigger on the new guy, Elias Achouri, and you just send him into LA and say, work with us, fam? And with that being said, I think that's what we're going to do. I think Mikey Barras wants to have some kind of mind game. Some kind of X factor. And considering the fact that he hasn't played for us yet, doesn't know how he will play for us yet, they don't know how he plays in general other than watching tape, why not throw that wrench in there? Why not be, what's the word I want to look for? Sneaky. Why not be sneaky? Why not be sneaky, cunning, smarter, wiser? Why not be that team that wants to get an upper hand and says, you don't know that we're going to start our starter, because even if you did know that we're going to start our starter, you don't know how to play him, which is only going to help us. Now, granted, that didn't help Sonny. And, yeah, we know how that goes. But that's beside the point. It's beside the point. Fact is Elias Achouri is going to work out perfectly for this team, and I think he will start on the left. So let's go through my starting 11 one more time. In goal, it has to be the number 1, CJ Dos Santos. Left back, Luca Bombino. Left center back, Ian Murphy. Right center back, Manu Dua. Right back, Durgan Thorhausen. The 2 center defensive mids, Jeppe Tverskov, Anibal Godoy. The 10 is going to be Gabriel Pirani. On the right, Anders Dreyer. Through the middle, Marcus Varkston. On the left, gets his first start in the Chrome and Azul, or maybe the white and blue with the Michelada stain. But nevertheless, it'll be number 99. It'll be Elias Achouri. That's my predicted starting 11. Hopefully they listen to me before this whole thing goes on, and maybe, just maybe, we see the debut of the third DP, the guy we've been waiting on. Maybe, just maybe, he helps us bring home 3 points against LAFC. We'll find out. I'll catch you guys after the game. Thank you all for hanging out with me. If you like this content, make sure you like it and subscribing. Tell all your friends about the Max Football Podcast. And, of course, head on over to Instagram and follow the Max Football Podcast. Head on over to TikTok at hostmo_MFP. Max Football Podcast. That's how it goes, fam. That's where I'm all over the place at. That's where you can find me at. The TikTok goes bananas. Instagram works as well, but the YouTube is where the money is made. So make sure you guys are following your boy here and telling all your friends about it, because I love making these previews, these predicted 11s, all this stuff. This is a fun gig for me, and the only way I can keep doing it is if y'all are watching. So I appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all after the game. Vamos, San Diego.
Host mode when you drew from both sides. San Diego, New York, London, let's ride. It's Max Football. Yeah. Host mode, San Diego, got enough.